All right, the time is 6:01 and this meeting called to order. We begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather and that is currently known as the city of West Hollywood is the occupied, unceded seized territory of Gabrieliana Tongva and Gabrieliana Kish peoples. The next item, Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Barry, would you read the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, one nation for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Secretary, may we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Barry,
Here.
Commissioner Cochran,
Present.
Commissioner Eisenberg, present. Commissioner Woolen,
Present.
Vice Chair Ng, here, and Chair Yusupov.
Present.
And we have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item is approval of agenda. Are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
There are no changes.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Eisenberg, seconded by Commissioner Woolen. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Barry,
Aye.
Commissioner Cochran,
Aye.
Commissioner Eisenberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Woolen,
Aye.
Vice Chair Ng,
Aye.
and Chair Yusupov.
Aye.
And the agenda is approved.
All right, next item is the approval of the minutes. Are there any changes to the minutes of October 1, 2024 meeting?
There are no changes.
Can we have a roll call? Is there a motion to approve the minutes for October 1st meeting?
So moved.
Commissioner Woolen and seconded by Commissioner Eisenberg. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Barry,
Aye.
Commissioner Cochran,
I was absent for that meeting, so I've been asked to abstain.
Commissioner Eisenberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Woolen,
Aye.
Vice Chair Ng,
Aye.
and Chair Yusupov.
Aye.
The item is approved.
The next item is item 6, public comment. This time is set aside for members of the public to address the West Hollywood Business License Commission on items of general interest within the subject matter of jurisdiction of the commission. This is not the public comment period for any public hearings on the agenda. Public comment for the public hearings will occur at the time of the hearing. There will also be a general public comment later in the meeting for those who could not be heard at this time. Each speaker will have 2 minutes. To participate in the Business License Commission meeting as a speaker, you must have registered by 2 p.m. today. If you did not register with the city staff, you will be unable to join the meeting as a speaker. Secretary, do we have any speakers?
There are no public speakers at this time.
Okay. The next item is public hearing. We have public hearing, item number 7A, an application by Pleasure Med LLC to modify the approved cannabis consumption area, business license located at 77115 Santa Monica Boulevard. I will now open the public hearing on item 7A. Secretary, how was this item noticed?
All notices are posted at the required city locations and mailed within the 500-foot radius of the business.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have any disclosures to make? No disclosures, okay. All right, so then is there a staff report?
Hi, good evening. My name is Jessica Benitez, Code Enforcement Supervisor, and with me is Mr. Vito Adamaitis, who's the Neighborhood and Business Safety Manager, and also Deputy City Manager Scott Shapes. So the item before you tonight is an application for Pleasure Med located at 7715 Santa Monica Boulevard. And before I start the presentation, I'd like to make a note is that this is an existing establishment, licensed establishment that has received approvals before this body, and they have been operating since October of 2023. And next, I'll provide an overview of the business. So back in 2019, Pleasure Med LLC received approval for 4 cannabis business licenses in the different business license categories. That is the adult use retail, medical use dispensary, cannabis consumption area, which is smoking, vaping, and edibles, and cannabis delivery service. So everything was to be operated from 7715 Santa Monica Boulevard. The adult medical and delivery service is operated out of the first floor, and then the cannabis consumption out of the second floor. On July 11th of 2021, the business received actually Business License Commission approval to modify the skylights and a reduction of security guards, which was approved. Then December 4th of 2024, and I apologize because I see on the screen it says November, but it should reflect December 4th of 2024, the business owner submitted a request to modify the cannabis consumption area business license due to the current cannabis market, and also noting that it's not financially viable to dedicate a 2-story commercial building for cannabis operation. In the next slide, if you're not familiar with the business, this gives you a perspective of the elevation. This is a 2-story commercial building along Santa Monica Boulevard, and is surrounded by commercial. On the north side is residential areas. The next slide is the proposed site plan. I'd like to make a note that this is different than what was included in the staff report. And the reason why it is on the staff report included more of the details of the cannabis consumption, and this gives you the overlay of the entire property. So the proposed changes, well, I want to make a note that there will be no changes to the adult use retail, medical, or delivery service. The business owner is proposing to move the cannabis consumption area from the second floor to the first floor of the same building. As you can see in the gray area, if approved, the tenant space on the first floor will be modified to accommodate the cannabis lounge. A new cannabis lounge entrance of the parking lot will be created just to the west side of the building. The cannabis operations will solely operate from the first floor of the commercial building, and the patrons will continue to order food from the adjacent restaurant. The second floor will be converted to restaurant use and will no longer be used for cannabis purposes. As any other business, anytime that there is modifications, they must adhere to the odor control standards, and the West Hollywood Municipal Code requires that cannabis odor is not detected outside the property or the lease area. As such, the applicant is modifying the existing, if approved, the existing HVAC system by installing a new extractor system with a TerraBloom filtration system to prevent the smoke and odors escaping and lingering in the adjacent units. So with that, we reviewed the documentation provided by the applicant, as well as the cost for service since the operations from October 2023. We found no complaints received from this business. With that, we recommend that the Business License Commission adopt resolution number BLC 25-001. It should be noted that the subject business will be conditioned with all the previous conditions that were incorporated. So pretty much we incorporated the previous conditions from the previous resolutions into this, so it's easier for the business owner to know what rules and regulations they need to abide, and also for enforcement purposes. So with that, I conclude my presentations, and we're available for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have any questions to the staff at this time? Okay. I have a question. So when a business makes changes to their HVAC system, is it subject to the permits from the city?
Yes, the business owner will be working with building and safety for any tenant improvements, which would require building permits, and it does require for a building inspection.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant present?
Yes, they are present.
Okay. You will be provided 5 minutes to make a presentation.
And you got the file I sent.
Mark, in case he forgets, make sure he says his name and city of residence.
You could start by stating your name and place of residence while they're loading the screen.
My name and what?
Yeah,
It's hard to hear.
your name and place of residence.
Hi, my name is Brian Robinson. I live in Los Angeles as my residence. I represent Pleasure Med LLC, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to the commissioners.
Thank you.
Considering this.
Mr. Robertson, Brian, if you could bring the microphone closer to you there so we could capture your voice well. Thank you. Apologize to the Business License Commission for the delay here, but hopefully we'll get this squared away quickly. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties.
I can also do without it.
If you're comfortable moving forward with that, that would be fine, as long as you're fine.
If you want to start without
Yeah.
the
okay.
visuals, and then we can go back to visuals once they fix
Okay.
the issue. So.
That's fine. Again, thank you for the opportunity for you guys to look at this. Pleasure Med has been one of the earliest pioneers of the city's West Hollywood Cannabis Initiative since its start. Our goal from the outset was to help the city realize its vision for a safe, fun, and unique cannabis experience for the residents and visitors alike. We applied and were awarded a number of cannabis, as you've seen, licenses, as you've seen, and since then we've invested and constructed 2 different buildings as part of this project. The goal was and continues to be to provide a unique and delightful experience to our community. We've been operational since October of 2023, and since then we've learned a great deal from the operation of our business and the interaction from our customers. As such, we've concluded that we need to reconfigure our space to optimize operations and to better serve our patrons. This is why we're here tonight, to inform you of our request for our plans to reconfigure this in a way that we we think is essential to our survival and the enhancements of these businesses. The biggest points is that this is a request to just reconfigure the existing space. The business will remain the same, providing retail and lounge experiences to the community. There's no change in the number of licenses that we've been awarded, and the business is not moving to a different location. The reconfiguration allows these businesses to operate more efficiently, economically, and most importantly is driven by direct response to the wishes and supplication of our patrons. Just a little bit about us. We've been busy for a year, but we've gotten a lot of really good media. LA Times, Eater LA, LA Weekly, Hollywood Reporter, Forbes Magazine, High Magazine. And that's from the critic side. And on the customer side, we've had a 4.8 over the last year review on Google reviews out of 34, a 5-star rating out of 106 reviews from OpenTable, and on Yelp we're at 4.5 out of almost 50 reviews. Building our consumption lounge in a new space on the first floor allows us to build on our success and provide the same quality experience and have guests partake in cannabis, but reach the community where the demand are. Our food is farm-table food, seasonal, and usually what's happening is people are avoiding our restaurant because of what they deem as cannabis smell. It turns out it takes 2 seconds for people, or a minute for people to get high if they're smoking or ingesting. So this allows us to put it in a specialized place. It's still very community-friendly. Looks like they got it up. That's just a few pictures of what we are. But they're wanting it to be more of a traditional room. As you see, we've spent a lot of investment and time creating this space for people. And in closing, we plan to continue our story and tell it the same. It's still a cannabis-friendly building. It's just that cannabis is used in a very specialized place. We still welcome people to come in that have gone down to consume, and they'll be part of this environment, whether they choose to stay down there and order food or come back upstairs or go to the bar and back. But guests will continue to feel at home and welcomed in our place.
Mr. Robertson, if you want to go through the PowerPoint, if we could give the additional time to the applicant now that the PowerPoint is up.
So it just gives it, we'll just go through really quickly. This is the interior space of the upstairs. It's a lounge now that would be moving to downstairs next. And these are the key points of why we're needing to do this. The next one, this is what we've done so far as far as critics reviewing us in the last year. And then the next one is our all the reviews of customers really enjoying what this is. And then the next one is the space where we'll be creating the new lounge. You only see part of it, but this is still be a beautiful place to order food, relax, enjoy cannabis. And the last one is just the closing next. And then this is us. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have any questions to the applicant at this time? Commissioner Eisenberg?
Okay. Hello. You said that you're going to be converting the upstairs to a restaurant, or is it still just going to be where they're ordering from the food next door?
The upstairs is currently a lounge restaurant. We do delivery from our kitchen that was built specifically for this space, so that basically stays the same.
Okay. So it's all under your ownership, the restaurant
Yeah.
and the thing? Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Barry?
Hi, thank you for the presentation, first of all. So it's my understanding that the new space will accommodate 17 guests, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And by moving it from the second floor to the first floor, will the new space improve accessibility to any of our disabled neighbors or customers? Like, and if so, how will that, like, will it still be able to accommodate 17?
It actually improves the accessibility because it's on the ground floor and it's on right off the parking lot.
Okay.
Currently, right now, a guest in a wheelchair or less abled has to go to the rear of the building, take a chairlift to the second floor to access it. But now it'll just be almost right off the street, although it's on the parking lot side and not on the street side, the sidewalk side.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Cocker.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your presentation. I really appreciate it. Out of curiosity and just for the knowledge of the commission, if you can name what were some of the challenges that made it economically unfeasible to have it in a larger space than in a smaller space?
Turns out there's just not enough smokers that want to, or people that consume cannabis that want to have this kind of experience that we're offering. Usually with this kind of food, people are asking like, oh, well, we'd want nice bottles of wine and really good cocktails. And it's the people that do want that think it's going to be a smoky place. And so people are sort of avoiding it. So we have usually a half full restaurant on even some of the busier nights. There's just not enough smokers and there's not enough demand for it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Woolen.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to fully understand the picture. So upstairs is currently a restaurant and it's being used as an edible lounge and people smoke upstairs and that's all happening there. What you're asking for is just 300 square feet downstairs where people will be able to smoke and have their edibles, but upstairs will only be a restaurant that there's no cannabis partaken in?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. State law prohibits alcohol and cannabis to be used in the same place. So we would be converting the upstairs to more of a traditional restaurant with alcohol. We already have an alcohol license on the property. For the rear of the property, there's a patio restaurant and bar. And then downstairs would just be the cannabis on the ground floor, whether it's consumed or retail.
Got it. Okay. So you're not replacing any space, you're just moving. It sounded like at first that there was going to be a replacement of something, but it's not. It's the restaurant staying upstairs, but you're creating a new space that's for consumption downstairs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Vice Chair Ng.
Thank you, Chair. Let me ask, Hind and Irie, I have been to the establishment. Unfortunately, I've not had the pleasure of eating there because every time I've gone by, you've been closed. But Hind and Irie are the two restaurants, correct?
Irie and Hind are.
Hind, I'm sorry. And which one currently is, I think Irie is the higher end and Hind is the more casual?
Yeah, so Hind is the patio restaurant that has the alcohol license currently, and Irie is the upstairs where you saw the pictures for.
Okay, so because again, I've been to the establishment, it seems that what you're doing then is taking away some of the retail, because retail's in front, and that little area that you're making consumption, I've seen, they're just those displays that you were showing, right?
Yeah.
So now what will happen then is that there's no direct accessibility. People will have to exit and then come around to the front, or will there be direct access from the restaurant?
You'd have to go outside to the front and then through the parking lot.
Okay. And then it seems that from what I saw from the diagram, if you're removing some of your retail space, are you then expanding that, or it just gets smaller?
It gets a little bit smaller, but we have a fairly large dispensary, square footage wise. that doesn't need all of that space. So we're making it more efficient and more accommodating to what our needs are.
Okay. I think that is that might be it. Thank you.
Commissioner Eisenberg.
Hi, going back to the restaurant and the new consumption lounge where it is, you mentioned that, and what we all know is that you can't combine the cannabis and the alcohol in the same establishment. There's nothing to prevent the people going from the consumption lounge up to the restaurants, right, and having alcohol?
Yeah, there's nothing that prohibits them from doing that.
And that's legal under our law, I guess.
Is that what?
That's legal under our law because
It
they're
is.
separate establishments.
We have, it's a separate establishment, and currently they could do that now anyway because the patio bar downstairs does have alcohol, and the restaurant upstairs is cannabis.
And they have different entrances.
And they what?
And they have different entrances.
They
I
do.
thought at one point the same person couldn't have the same licenses for alcohol and for cannabis.
The same business cannot.
Okay,
They're
on the same
formally
location.
separate,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, anyone else? No? I just want to summarize, for instance, so what you basically doing, you're increasing the restaurant space and decreasing a little bit of a cannabis space in a nutshell, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's all our questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on item?
Yes, Scott Schmidt.
Hi, good evening. Scott Schmidt, resident of West Hollywood, executive director of Emerald Village, West Hollywood. You know, we're just marked 7 years since adult use cannabis became legal in California. February will be 5 years since we formalized the licensing process and awarded 16 lounge licenses. Only 6 of those have opened up. And, you know, market conditions in the cannabis industry statewide have been a challenge. You know, from 2022 through the end of 2023, West Hollywood, our sales were up 37.7%, which was great. But the last year, we're down 8%. We're doing better than the state. Over the last year, the state's down 11%. But these challenges come from, you know, market conditions, which deal with overtaxation, overregulation, and over-permitting of the supply side of cannabis. There's too many farms that are licensed producing too much product, and the product's getting cheaper. You know, a pack of 5 pre-rolls that you'd pay $45 for 3 or 4 years ago is now $25. And what Pleasure Med's doing is just asking to right-size their business. Brian had a big idea, and in the process of opening up his business, faced a lot of challenges. Public health wouldn't let him have the kitchen, so he had to create the kitchen in a separate building out back and built a restaurant in between. And now that restaurant is, you know, serving food, and, you know, the economics, you know, maybe haven't worked out. And so I'm asking you to support this application and the staff recommendation and have some grace and allow them to right-size the business. And let's hopefully make them successful. So thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you. Do we have other speakers?
There are no other speakers at this time.
Okay, thank you. Applicant, do you have anything to add to your presentation at this time? No. Okay. Do any commissioners have any questions before? Okay, I will now close the public comment portion of the hearing and bring the matter back to the commission for discussion and deliberation. Anyone? Okay, if I can. Vice Chair Ng.
Thank you, Chair. I would have thought that maybe AB 1775 would have helped, but clearly I'm guessing that you probably, and for those that don't know, that allows the generation of food and cannabis to go together. And I guess it might have come too late for you, unfortunately. So I think something else that Scott Schmidt mentioned, I think in addition to what the market situations are, is that one thing that's been happening, for those that don't know, is that penalties for illegal growing aren't that high. And so that ends up being what happens. And well, I think consumption and use has gone up overall. It has actually fueled the unregulated market, unfortunately. So it does make conditions very difficult, and we know, or I'll remind people, that cannabis businesses can't write off normal expenses the way that other businesses can, and it makes the conditions, I think, incredibly challenging and really kind of nutty that cannabis business, like that anybody wants to do it, I think is, you know, I give them credit because that's how I can buy it. So I'm grateful for that. I would support this. Again, I've tried to go to the restaurant on several occasions. I'll make that attempt again, and I hope that this brings about the success that you're hoping for.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I think that Brian put forward a well-reasoned case, and I personally don't see any reason why we wouldn't support it.
Commissioner Eisenberg?
Okay, I appreciate all of the challenges that you're having, and I agree with what Scott Schmidt said, that there's probably been over-permitting, not just in West Hollywood, but all over Los Angeles that would compete for the business. So we probably end up being mostly local people participating in the restaurant. I think West Hollywood was expecting a greater tourism, cannabis tourism here, and I think that's impacted it, and it's unfortunate. I would support this staff recommendation on this to hopefully support and encourage more activity at the business. Good luck.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the item?
I'll make a motion to approve the staff's recommendation.
I'll second.
All right, so motion by Commissioner Woolen, seconded by Commissioner Barry. Secretary, may I please have a roll call?
Aye.
There we go. Commissioner Cochran,
Aye.
Commissioner Eisenberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Woolen,
Aye.
Vice Chair Ng,
Aye.
and Chair Yusupov.
Aye.
And the item is approved. The decision is subject to an appeal by any person dissatisfied with the Commission's decision and may file with the City Clerk a notice of appeal to City Council. The appellant or the appellant's legal representative must sign the notice of appeal and pay the filing fees at the time of the appeal filing. All appeals must be filed with the City Clerk's office within 15 days of the mailing date of the decision.
Thank you. Congratulations. All right. The next item is item number 8, unfinished business. There is no unfinished business. So on the next item, number 9, new business, and there is no new business. Next item, number 10, items from the staff. Do we have any items from the staff?
Good evening, Chair and members of the Business License Commission. Happy New Year to all of you. Look forward to the year ahead and the continued work with the Commission. I don't have any specific updates for you tonight. We are working on some items that may be coming to the Commission at your next Commission meeting on Tuesday, February 4th. So staff will continue working with our folks that are out there that may have some items coming to the Commission. But look forward to the year ahead, and again, appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight and start the year off with the Commission meeting here. So that's all I have. I don't know if, Jessica, you have anything you want to share? Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is number 11, public comment. This time is set aside for members of the public to address the West Hollywood Business License Commission on any item of interest within the subject matter and jurisdiction of the Commission that could not be heard under item 6 at the beginning of the meeting. Each speaker will have 2 minutes. Do we have any speakers?
There are no public comments.
Okay. The next item is items from commissioners. Do any commissioners have any items to bring forth? Commissioner Barry?
I would just like to take a moment to recognize our former colleague and congratulate former Commissioner and now City Councilman Danny Hang on his appointment to City Council.
Thank you. Anyone else? Vice Chair Ng?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, on that note, I'll also mention that next Monday, we will have the induction of our new mayor and returning vice mayor, and longtime council member John Heilman will be vice mayor. On the 18th of January, WeHo will have an MLK Day of Service. So we encourage everyone to participate in that. And I will also congratulate former Commissioner Danny Hang and now Council member Danny Hang on his election. Thank you.
Commissioner Cochran.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say thank you to city staff, as always, for all the excellent work you do. And I know it seems like the beginning of the year and it's calm, but it'll be Pride before you know it soon, and you'll be in the depths of things. One thing I wanted to acknowledge is I just wanted to say that we did receive a comment about tonight's item via email to the commission, and what I don't want, the person who submitted the comment asked for a no vote, and of course it was a unanimous yes, and I don't want anyone to ever be discouraged or think that their voices aren't being heard just because the vote didn't necessarily go your way. They did mention that it was opening another weed dispensary, which after hearing, of course, the presentation, it wasn't. It was just the relocation of it from the second floor to the first floor. But we, as commissioners and city council members and anyone who's part of the city, don't just want your opinion, but we need it. We can't do our jobs without it. So please don't ever feel discouraged, even if things don't go your way. Things don't go my way all the time either, obviously. So please continue to be engaged. We really appreciate it. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cochran. Commissioner Eisenberg.
I would just like to wish everyone a Happy New Year. I'm looking forward to working with all of my fellow commissioners in the new year. And also congratulations to our former Commissioner Hang, now council member. I know he'll do a great job. Look out for the interests of the residents in the city. And I think that's it. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, I'd like to wish Happy New Year to everyone. Stay safe during this fire season, which is unfortunately raging in our region. Congratulations to Danny Hang on his election win. And thank you, staff, for preparing for this meeting. Hopefully next time we'll have more smooth technical support. So with that, we're gonna close the meeting. The West Hollywood Business License Commission will adjourn to its next adjourned meeting, which will be on Wednesday. It says Wednesday, November 13th, which is, I guess, the typo. But it's February 4th, right?
Correct.
At 6 p.m. at West Hollywood Public Council Chambers at 625 North San Vicente Boulevard, West Hollywood, California, 90069. So this meeting is adjourned.
Talent and creativity here with the city. Talent and creativity here with the city.
West Hollywood was sort of the introduction to all of the possibilities of gender and relationships and what family could look like. It really won my heart, and I just wanted to give back.
West Hollywood was the first place that I ever saw queer people in public living their truth.